Hello, and thank you for joining Akashinga's briefing, Advancing Women's Leadership in Conservation. We are grateful to all of you for tuning in and for your extraordinary partnership. During the briefing, all participants will be muted and will remain off camera. Afterwards, there will be a question and answer session. If you'd like to ask a question of our panelists, you can do so using the Q&A tool at the bottom of your screen. This will remain open for the entire event, so please feel free to submit your questions throughout the conversation. This briefing is being recorded. I will now turn the call over to Beth Novogratz. Please proceed, Beth.
Hi, thank you. Thank you, Gwen. Thank you, everyone who's here for joining us today. And thank you to the Akashinga team for inviting me to join this very important discussion. My name is Beth Novogratz, and I run a media organization and host a podcast, both called Species Unite. And much of what we do is focused on the heroic individuals and their work who are making this life better for those that we share the planet with. And that's how I met Akashinga's founder, Damian Mander, 4 years ago. And since then, I've been following Akashinga's work, watching this organization expand and their impact multiply. I'm a super fan of Akashinga and of these women, and I feel super honored to introduce Nyaradzo and Petronella. So in the face of the climate crisis, women and rural communities often bear its profound impacts. And in Southern and East Africa, where there are numerous threats to biodiversity, women also feel the impact of biodiversity loss and climate change more keenly as gendered roles give them primary responsibility for feeding their families through activities like subsistence farming, drawing water, and collecting wood. Yet, in the nature conservation sector, women are outnumbered by men 100 to 1. Akashinga's conservation model empowers women economically, offering paid employment and training, linking conservation outcomes to community development and social impact through sustainable livelihoods and alternatives to harmful practices like unregulated fishing, illegal logging, poaching, and encroachment. These opportunities not only foster financial stability and personal growth for local women, but also open doors to expanded career prospects, including tertiary, university, and specialist education. So today I am joined by Sergeant Nyaradzo Hoto and Petronella Chigumbura, two leaders at Akashinga Zimbabwe, who work in some of the most hostile environments on the African continent. And we're here to discuss the vital role that women play in protecting Africa's biodiversity and advancing women's leadership in conservation. Hi, it's great to see you both. Now, you're both members of the first cohort of Akashinga Rangers from 2017. So I would love to start by having each of you talk about your roles in the organization as Rangers, starting with you, Petronella.
Thank you very much. My name is Petronella Chigumbura. I'm a female ranger from Akashinga. I joined Akashinga 2017. I go past through the interview, the selection, and the training. Although the training was hard, but I pushed very hard from the heart. So I become the part of the team of the brave ones. That's the meaning of Akashinga. It's meaning the brave ones. So I go through the training in Kenya. So from that training in Kenya, I do the medical and I do the instructor training there for 6 months. After graduating, that's where I become a sergeant instructor. From that stage, I went to Songo. That's where our Akashinga is again. I trained the rangers in Songo. They are now fully graduate rangers in Songo. I go through another training, the leadership development training in South Africa. That's where I hold the certificate of leadership training as well. So I become now, I'm a deputy ranger supervisor in Akashinga, Zimbabwe. As a leader, now my duty in my roles in Akashinga is to planning for daily planning, ensure all the rangers, they are in safety. I do the briefing before they went to their patrols, and I do the debrief when they come back to their patrol, that's where I compile my reports. So as a leader, I'm motivating my rangers. I'm giving them the lessons that I got from the training from lead ranger, that their safety is very important. So whenever they go to their patrol, I always remind them about the safety of each and everyone in their teams. And as a leader, my role is to identify the strengths of the rangers, and I position them according with their strength, because we have different types of patrols. We have those patrols that you can only move in the park, checking the illegal activity, and we have another patrols that that needs the reaction very fast. So that one will be limited time to prepare. So each and every time I briefing them before they went out, and we do the debrief when they come back, and I do the reports.
Thank you. That's amazing. That's incredible. And what about you, Nyaradzo?
Thank you so much. And I'm very grateful for everyone to connect from every part of the world, listening from us. It's a golden opportunity for us women in the African continent. I started working as a ranger in 2017, and we started together with my colleague Petronella. And as said, the training was tough, even though it was tough, but I progressed and I succeeded, and I passed the ranger training. And I started working as a ranger, patrolling in the field. And I then progressed with my career. In 2020, I was then promoted to become a sergeant. And by then, because of Akashinga, I was involved in studies of wildlife ecology and conservation, undertaking a bachelor's of honor science degree in one of the universities in Zimbabwe. And I'm very grateful to share that last year I graduated with bachelor's science honors degree for the wildlife. I haven't ended there. Last year, after I attained that degree, I've been appointed to a new post of science, that is the biodiversity officer right now that I'm taking. And I'm much into monitoring, research and analysis of the data that is being collected by the rangers in the field. Because when the rangers do their patrols, they do collect everything of interest that has to do with the ecosystem, whether it is the animals, the movement of the animals, the population of the animals, the behaviors of the animal, the water status, the vegetation status. The rangers do collect all that information, and as part of my job, we do the analysis so that we provide with the informed decisions to the management for the planning of ahead. So I'm very grateful. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And when you say the training was difficult, I know about your training, and difficult is a very nice way to put how insanely tough that training was. So let's talk about some of the most impactful development and advancement opportunities for either of you that you've experienced or helped lead at Akashinga. Do you want to start, Nyaradzo?
Yes, thank you. I'm so excited that I'm joining this webinar. Whilst I'm Oxford, I'm here to attend the Scoreboard Forum. That's part of empowerment that have been impacted on me by Akashinga, and I'm being developed because right now I'm being given opportunities for public speaking and opportunities to network with different partners who are in conservation, who are in entrepreneurship, who are investors. So there's powerful development that I'm being impacted by Akashinga. And also, when I was growing up, I faced financial challenges of continuing with my education. And Akashinga came to me as a breakthrough because right now I've been assisted to complete my tertiary education, and I'm also looking forward to proceed to pursue and get my master's in big data analysis. That's my goal. And because of Akashinga, I've been recognized to be the first ever woman. I was awarded an International Ranger award in Rwanda in 2022. And I've been never in Rwanda. I've been never in UK, and this is my first time. And it was also my first time to meet and network with different people who are in conservation. And so I'm very grateful because of the developments and the empowerment that I'm receiving from Akashinga. And Akashinga is not just like centering on one person. It is giving opportunities to almost everyone, Petronella is a leader, I am a leader, and we've got some of our colleagues at the camp in different countries. Like Akashinga is spread to Mozambique, Botswana, and in Botswana there are Akashinga leaders, female leaders, and in Mozambique there are also female leaders. So Akashinga is very empowering us women to be part of the conservation, taking the lead, be on the front line.
Huge congratulations to you for these incredibly well-deserved achievements and awards. It's incredible that you were Ranger of the Year. Congrats. Thank you. Petronella, will you talk about some of the most impactful advancement opportunities that you've had since you've been with Akashinga?
Thank you very much. As my colleague Nyaradzo says, Akashinga have got, we are given the opportunities to everyone. So everyone have got, and everyone have got opportunities in Akashinga. So last year, I've been out in South Africa. I've been awarded the Best Game Ranger Award in Zimbabwe. So I was the first runner on that Best Game Ranger. So I have that award. And from Akashinga, I have the opportunity again to be part of the Vital Voices with the United Nations. So that opportunity is very big to me, because as a leader, they were interviewing me, giving me the questions. I was sharing the experience that I have with them. So it's a great opportunity for me to be part of the Vital Voices projects with United Nations. So I'm very happy to be a part of them. And as a leader, again, I have that impact with Akashinga. Because Akashinga is not only about us, it's even from the community. From the community I came from, there is this impact from the community I came from, because they were thinking maybe since we are disadvantaged women, we are from the poor families, and we are just from the divorce, so we have a lot of in our heads. So they were thinking maybe we cannot make it, but now they are seeing us going ahead, and the elders themselves from the community, they are proud of us as Akashinga leaders, especially me. When I go out to my time off, some of the elders, they'll also come to my house. They also congratulate me to get that award, especially that award for becoming the best game ranger in the world. So Akashinga is giving me the opportunities, and as I'm sitting now, I'm a driver. I'm driving the Land Cruisers. That's from Akashinga. I have a Class 4 driver's license. That is from Akashinga, and we have female drivers in Akashinga. So I'm so proud and to be part of Akashinga.
Yeah, congratulations.
Sorry.
Go ahead. No, go.
And to add on that, we are very grateful that opportunities are being spread to everyone. Right now, we have got instructors at one of our training academic center is in Zimbabwe, and those instructors have been former rangers, and they have been upgraded and given the opportunity to do their academic studies in Kenya, and they've become the first women instructors for Akashinga in Zimbabwe, and they are moving around to the countries we are expanding to, training other rangers, as what Petronella have done before. They are now doing the training, and they're almost 9, and it's something that is powerful, something that is a very, I don't know how best can I explain, but I hope you get my point.
No, it's real mentorship, and it's really like you're inspiring, but you're also training, you're leading, and you're bringing on a whole new generation of leaders. And talk about that a little bit, Petronella, like how you're working with these other rangers and how you're elevating them.
Working with another rangers, I'm very happy, as my colleague was talking about the instructors, those from Lead Ranger. I also did that Lead Ranger training in Kenya. I'm very happy because among those instructors, my former rangers that are inside there, and they always come to me and say, thank you, Sergeant Pet, because we are now pushing in, and they always come looking for advices. I always giving them information, and I keep on mentor them because I did the same training, and I am the one who trained them for them to becoming rangers. And I'm now proud, I'm now happy because they are now instructors, and they are moving around the world in the preaching the gospel of saving life, because to working to be a ranger, you need to be mentally fit and physical fit. And as well, we just look around as a ranger. Most of rangers, they are dying. They are dying during the time of work. They are encountering the animal attacks, and the thing that are killing people is bleeding. So Lead Rangers training, in the Lead Ranger instructors, they are training how to prevent the preventable deaths, because people, they are dying through bleeding. So as a Lead Ranger, they are trying to save lives of everyone, not only in our job, but even from our community. You can stop the preventable death or you have that information. So I'm here with those instructors because they are preaching the word of saving life. That is the very important thing. When you're out there, you need to know how to save someone's life and your colleague's life. So I'm happy of that Lead Ranger instructors.
Wow. And what about you, Nyaradzo? And will you talk a little bit about mentorship and this next generation of Akashinga coming in and what you're doing to empower them?
Looking at myself, I see as myself like I'm someone who believes in encouraging others, who motivate others. To myself, I'm a role model in my community and also in the organization. So I keep on motivating them, giving them the energy about that you can build a better future. You can change the future. You cannot just work with the history or the past, but you can even change your life. You can change your future, and the sky is the limit. You can break the boundaries. So right now, Akashinga, with other departments of community, we have got a department that works closely with the community. We work in the schools, having some conservation clubs. So we are nurturing those little ones, those learners from different stages, from primary level to secondary level. I believe that if we catch them young, they will grow up having that knowledge and building up themselves that with the knowledge of conservation and the appreciation of the ranger work. So right now, like during the leadership, when I was still a sergeant, I was believing that if I give the rangers a flow to think, like even to plan, like you have a strategic plan of what are we going to do, when are we going to do it, and how are we going to do it? Because the poachers are always they always have like new, what can I say, new strategies, new plans, new strategies and new tactics to kill animals, and even new tactics to escape from rangers. So we keep on always come up with new ways, new ideas, and giving flow to the rangers and giving flow to the juniors, so that they can feel being involved in being engaged, and they feel that element of ownership, that we are the rangers, we are the Akashinga, we are the ones who are protecting these animals, we are the owners of this job, we own this job, we think about what we're gonna do. And there are some circumstances that we don't give those rangers time to plan, or time to think, or time to have those, because of the situation. We have sort of like to be like autocratic leaders, like giving command, like when I think Petronella have mentioned it before, that when we do like sort of a reaction, like reacting to poachers, like reacting to do trekking, you just give commands to the rangers. They just listen from you, from what you are saying. Then after, you do like debriefing. So to myself, I put into a field of encouraging, motivating, not just to my colleagues, but to the women all around the world, to the women who are in the conservation, to all women who are not yet in conservation sector. We have to embrace them and nurture them, that they have to keep growing and fully equipped with the information of conservation, because right now the hot topic right now we are focusing on is on climate change. Yes, we are, as Akashinga, we started on focusing on anti-poaching, but right now we are broadening to restore the biodiversity, protecting the ecosystem at its large, not just focusing on animals, but even the vegetation, even the trees, even the water. So that's Akashinga, one of Akashinga leaders.
Well, and that's something I wanted to ask about, because I know you two have both been in Akashinga since the very beginning, and you're both based in Zimbabwe, which is where it all began and was for a while. And you're partnering with local communities. You manage 9.1 million acres in 4 countries. So will you talk about what it's been like and the implications of bringing Akashinga and the Akashinga model to these other regions, and how that's gone?
Let me just jump in.
Okay.
When we started operating specifically, I can start to cite on my example for the area of Zimbabwe. It was a hunting area before. So that area, we could see few animals during our patrols, but because of the efforts that we keep on protecting it, because by the time we arrived, it was like sort of an abandoned area. Nobody was looking after it. People from the local community were deforesting the area, were poaching on animals. So everyone was doing whatever she deemed to do it, or he or she to do at any time of the day. So we started to do the patrols, protecting the area, and because of the efforts from the we started up now, we've managed to reduce poaching by 99% from the records, from the statistical records. And also the wildlife population have increased to 399%, because we usually see few animals, few sightings of animals along the patrols. But now I can happily share that we are enjoying viewing wild animals in the area we are protecting. And at first they were just like running away from us. They were maybe like feeling afraid of being killed, but now we are almost like friends. We can even pose for taking a picture with them, be the animals on the background, or even a short video. So it's something that is interesting, and to ourselves it's a great achievement, because we feel being rewarded of what we have done since we started. And we have brought a positive impact to the community, because most of the people were just like, we used to know elephants from the books, from the magazines, but right now, those elephants, they are now even getting to the community and say hi.
And have you seen the community's relationship with these animals change? Like, do people like having them around more than before?
It's a bit tricky, because those animals, when they get to the community, they do destroy the crops, the livestock. So right now it's our responsibility as rangers, because we don't just do patrolling in the field, but we also react to emergencies of human wildlife conflicts, and to try to let them understand that people can coexist with wildlife. And we are trying also to introduce them mitigation measures that are friendly to them, so that they can coexist with wildlife. They can plant their crops, and animals can get into the community and go back to the protected area.
Oh, that's amazing. Will you give an example of one of the coexistence, like the mitigation programs? I'm asking really even because we have a really hard time with this in the US. We're terrible at coexistence. And it's so inspiring to hear stories where coexistence is working.
Right now, we are teaching them to make what we call chili bricks, for focusing on elephants, because the secret behind is elephants doesn't want the smell of chilies. So we mix elephant dung, used oil and chili powder. Then we mix those ingredients and mold them into sort of like bricks. Then we dry them. So you light that block, and it doesn't bring up flame, but it's just smoke. So that smoke will spread with the smell of chilies, and once it gets to the elephants, they will go back to the protected area. And we are also teaching them to put strings into. We mix chili and chili powder and water. Then we soak those strings, and we put sort of like a boundary using those strings. So when the wind comes and blows the chili, the elephants will just like, no, this is a no-go area. This is a no-go area. Then also the community, we are letting them to use firecrackers. Yeah, they're big use to when we talk of human wildlife conflict, because there are some animals like lions, they don't want noise. Even the elephants, they don't want to hear noise. So when you light up the firecracker, then you're good and you're safe.
Amazing. That's incredible. So this last question I have is I would love to hear from both of you, because I want to hear about, from the beginning, from 2017 until now, 2024, how your relationship with the community around you has changed since joining Akashinga.
Okay, let me jump in.
Okay.
Since 2017, we joined Akashinga. The community, they were not even understanding us, since we were women from the community. So they're not understanding us. They were just thinking we are going to join Akashinga only for the money, but they were thinking maybe we were going to join Akashinga, but we were not doing the successful successful protecting of animals, because they think only men are meant for protecting wildlife. But since now we did the trainings, through the trainings, they are now seeing the successful arrests, but we are doing the arrests. For my side, when I'm protecting wildlife, when I see, when we do the arrest, I know and you make sure the animals, they are safe. So the community, we are doing the awareness to the community. So we're giving them information about the animals and the importance of animals. So they are now getting it. And as leaders, they are now seeing the fruits of being a woman leader, to be in front, because whenever I go back to the community, the elders, they normally come to our house and they were asking the questions about how to lead people. Then I always give them the information about leading people, because I did the trainings about leadership through Akashinga. And now I can say it's changing, because Akashinga is now getting to people, it's now going to people and giving them the project, because we discover most of the poachers, they were driven by poverty to do poaching, but now Akashinga is giving them the project, even is drilling the balls to the community, because it's before Akashinga, it was very hard for us to get water, the safe drinking water. But now Akashinga is drilling the balls, putting the taps and the solar panels, so people they are drinking safe water now through Akashinga. So they are seeing the good things from Akashinga. We are not going there only to arrest them, but we are being friends with them, and now they are even giving us information if there is any poaching going on into the community, because of that relationship we are building in with the community. And then now they are even want more of their children coming in to join Akashinga, because they are seeing the goodness of Akashinga. Before they were thinking it's only arresting them. But for now, they are saying, it's not about arresting people, but it's all about protecting wildlife. And whenever the elephants are going to the community, I always told them, the first thing, just contact us, then we can react to that elephants. And as my colleague was saying, we are teaching them how to make chili bricks, how to make chili strings, and that's they help them to control the elephants. And for the lions, the lions, they just go to the community, try to destroy their cows and their goats. But you always teach them, whenever you see the lions, what they don't want is eye contact. Just keep an eye on them. Just put fire next to your crow, so they won't come to your side. Then for us, we trained how to take them back to to our park. We can use the firecrackers. If you use the firecracker, the lion can easily go back to the park. So with that relationship, now the community, they are getting us. And last month, we're recruiting the ladies from the community. It was surprising. They come in a big number. We do the interviews like 2-3 days doing the interview. That shows me the community, they are now in good relationship with us, both they want their children to join us as female rangers. As me as a leader, I'm now seeing the change and the good relationship between Akashinga and the community.
And what about you, Nyaradzo? Like, how have you seen the community's perception of women and women, conservation organizations with women like Akashinga? How has that changed since you've been in it?
Village leaders are only men, but now I've realized after the initiative of Akashinga, there are now some village leaders who are women, and it's something that is impressive. It means that they are appreciating that women can be leaders, women can be on the forefront. And I'm very happy that from our nearest police station, they have said after the initiative of Akashinga, they started to receive a few reports of rape cases. So it means men started to appreciate and respect women in the community because of the Akashinga. They have started to realize that it's not only house chores. They used to know that women in rural Africa are just meant to do the dishes at home, be a childbearer, just be a housewife. But a woman can be somebody, a woman can be a ranger, a woman can be a leader. So despite the fact that there are some women who are still at home, who are not yet employed, they are putting that respect, honoring us to other women in the community. So I see a great impact and great appreciation of the community to the work we are doing, because right now they are like embracing us, they are supporting us. Yeah, we cannot change everyone's mind. We cannot win everybody's heart. Like we cannot even change the perception of the community over the night. It's a gradual thing, but right now we are very grateful that for the past 7 years, we have been working as female rangers, as women leaders in Akashinga, as women leaders in the region of Zimbabwe, in the region of Africa. We have brought positive impact and changed the mindset of the community and the perception towards women.
It's incredible. Well, thank you for every bit of the work that you do. I'm going to turn this over to Gwen, our operator, because we're going to move on to the Q&A part of the hour.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much. As Beth said, we will now move into the Q&A portion. You are all still welcome to submit questions, which you can find at the bottom of your screen. Our first question comes from Jenny S. She asks, in a past interview, some rangers spoke about how being a woman gives them the ability to function in their roles in ways that men can't. Can you speak to that? Petronella, would you like to start us off?
As I say, I did the lead ranger training in Kenya. Some women, they were thinking maybe without mentoring them, they can't do the job. But through mentoring them and still opening the door for them to give them information and to keep motivating them, to give them the encouragement words. So I always encouraging them about being a female lead. You need to be strong. You need to know how to lead people. You need to think very fast. You need to do your plannings in time. The best thing, if you're a leader, you need to lead by examples. Whenever you do your steps, you need to go your steps without doubting. Then as a leader, as the fellow rangers, they will follow the same steps without doubting. So I always encouraging them, I always motivating them through me. Now they are now strong rangers.
Thank you so much, Petronella. Nyaradzo, did you have anything to add for that question?
Yes, I can say that by nature, we women are teachers, we are mothers. So the difference I can just mention, the way we do our work as women rangers, that differs, or that give a unique difference to the way men used to do, is like we are easily heard. We can easily win the hearts of the community. Like if we do go to the community doing some awareness campaigns, some educational campaigns, we are easily heard because we are naturally teachers by nature and mothers also. So the way we do our approach to the community is quite different to the way that men do to the community, spreading the word. Because someone may ask, how do you manage to arrest men poachers? At some point, you realize that we can even receive information about what is happening in the community, what has happened in the park, in the protected area. Sometimes we miss the poachers, but because we have created a strong relationship with the community, because we have won their hearts, they can feed us with the information of what is happening, and that makes our work easier and makes the difference from the way men do their job.
Thank you so much, Nyaradzo. Our next question comes from Autumn B. And she asks, how successful are you with outreach and recruitment of new women rangers?
Yeah, I can jump in to say we started as 16 rangers in 2017. Then we expanded to almost 60 rangers, just talking to the camp that I operate in Lower Zambezi Valley. And we then expanded to one of the districts also in Zimbabwe. And in Mozambique recently, last year in June, 26 female rangers have graduated and become the first Akashinga Rangers there in Mozambique and also in Botswana. And like what my colleague have recently said, that last month we have done the recruitment again of some other female rangers. So the network in the portfolio of women in conservation, women in who are keen to be female rangers is growing big and is expanding. And right now I can happily say that we are operating in a scale of 9.1 million acres in part of the Southern Africa, and be the women on the front line, be the women in the Ranger Week.
Thank you. Fantastic. Our next question comes from Diane Lee, who asks, what are some of the biggest challenges faced by women in your line of work?
Let me jump in on that one. Some of the challenges that we are facing as women in the line of work is men. Some of men, they'll disrespect us because they were thinking maybe we cannot do our job, but through trainings and everything, now they are getting us, and they're thinking maybe we cannot arrest them since they are men. They think maybe they are strong more than us, but through the trainings, we are strong, we are brave to arrest. So I always say, whenever you go to my area, whenever you poach, or whenever I hear the sound of the struggling elephants, I'll make sure they are safe. And whenever you kill an elephant, whether you are a man or you are my relative, I arrest you and put you to the responsible persons, like going with you to the police. But by doing that, the successful, now they are respecting us, they are even in supporting of us. So as women, we're facing those challenges from the community. Again, as we say, we are from the community, the local community. So at first it was very difficult for us to arrest our people from our local communities, but through teachings and trainings, now I can go to my family and giving them information, teaching them and telling them the importance of my work. And as well, they are seeing us as helpers for the families, because wherever I get my money, my salary, I always take my money to my family. So now they are respecting us as female leaders.
And just to add on to that, what my colleague have said, I just want to encourage everyone around the world, especially the women, that there is nothing that is 100% perfect. So when we are talking of the initiative of females being rangers, it doesn't mean it's 100%, but it's only a matter of dedication, courage, and positive spirit, positive mindset. It doesn't mean that when we are female, it doesn't face challenges. Like what my colleague was saying, we had some challenges. So for us to break the boundary, for us to break the limit and the limitations, we have to be dedicated, and we have to keep on building the courage that I can do it. If my brother has done it, if my father has done it, if my sister has done it, I can also do it.
Thank you. Our next question comes from Michelle L. What advice would you give to the next generation of women who are interested in becoming leaders?
The whole planet, the whole earth is a big universe. So I can start to say the health and well-being of the planet today depends on the choices we make today. And it depends on us. And we depend on the nature, we depend on what is in the planet. So you mustn't be afraid to make a decision of getting into conservation sector. You have to get prepared that I am a game changer. I can do everything is possible. Nothing is impossible. We can do it. So I just want to encourage everyone who is in the conservation sector, who wants to be in the conservation sector, and the upcoming generation, that the well-being of the planet, it is in our heads. The health of it, it is in our heads. So we have to get ready and keep our planet clean and keep our planet health, and just keep on having that courage that I can change the world.
And on, as my colleague was saying, as a female leader, you need to stand up. So I always say, let's stand up as female lead and speak for the animals and talk for the animals and sacrifice our efforts as animals, love animals from our heart. So let's stand up and speak for them, make them safe and healthy.
Thank you. Our next question comes from Sonia A. How has being a ranger changed you as a person? Nyaradzo, would you like to begin?
Yes. When I started Akashinga, I was just like nobody, because I was unemployed, just stuck at home, and I had a painful background that I was raised from a poor family, and I faced some financial challenges to proceed with my education that I hoped for. And when I decided that maybe if I get married, I could have someone that could believe and support me, I was getting myself into fire. I didn't know that I was taking the right direction. So from all those difficult circumstances, Akashinga brought me to be someone in life. I never imagined that I could be a leader. I never imagined that I could be someone in conservation. I could be a ranger. I could change the boundary, like change the game of women in the conservation. I couldn't imagine that one day I could be in school. I could be one of the attendees of school. I couldn't imagine that I could be a driver, of which it's a big deal for women in rural Africa to have a driver's license. Like, be on the wheels, the steering. It's something that gives you energy and confidence. That so Akashinga have brought me from from dust to grass. So I've been elevated. Now I can network with the different people in the conservation sector, different people from different continents. I can explore in the conservation. So Akashinga has developed me. I am now in the front line of conservation. I am now in the front line of leadership in Akashinga. So I'm a totally changed person. I am now an independent person financially independent because I couldn't even have money to sustain my family, to support my children, even my mother or my side family. But right now, I'm financially empowered. I'm so grateful about the Akashinga.
Let me jump in from my side. As I say, I grown up in a community with a poor background, and I lost both of my parents while I was still at school. So the life was very hard before Akashinga, and we were struggling with everything. Then I later on decide, let me get married. Maybe I can have someone that can give me warmth. But it was a wrong decision. Again, I make. That relationship, that marriage was even painful. From that marriage, I have 2 children, so it was difficult for me again to feed those 2 children since their father, they were not even working. So when Akashinga came in 2017 and recruited me as a ranger, I started as a ranger, and my life started changing from there after the training that I was doing. For now, I can say Akashinga has changed me to another levels because now the good thing from my elders, I always talk about my elders because I grown up from the community. My elders, they are now proud of me because one of other day that I was flying to Kenya, they were thinking, we grown up thinking like, hey, when the flight goes up, you'll be vomiting. But when by the time I came back from Kenya, people, they come into our house asking how was the flight and how was everything. I was explaining the good things. It's all about Akashinga, especially when we go to South Africa with a jet. I come back and give them the information. Now I was in a jet and they were saying, how the jet? So it is a good, this is another thing that my community is now appreciating, like, hey, now they are now respecting me because to fly from the community to fly it's a big deal, the big thing. They're thinking maybe you are breaking some of the evil things because you'll be on the air. So Akashinga is upgrading me in everything, and the opportunities of doing the interviews and the opportunities of joining the project, like I say, the Vital Voices with the UN, with the United Nations. So those opportunities that Akashinga is giving me is even changing myself. And now I can feed myself, I can dress myself, even my kids. I'm now giving them the food and everything. So Akashinga is empowering me, and my community is now seeing me as a breadwinner to our family. Because as I say, both of my parents, they died while we were still young. We are 7 in our family, but some of them, they are not working. So I'm a breadwinner in the family. Whenever they get any emergency, they will first call me as a breadwinner of the family. So Akashinga is changing me, my personality, and I'm now a leader. Not even dreamed to become a leader one day, but now I'm a leader. I'm leading the Akashinga Rangers in Fundundu, Zimbabwe. So Akashinga has changed my life very much.
Thank you so much. Our next question comes from Natalie S. And first, she says, thank you so much for sharing your inspiring stories, and asks, what do you look forward to each day when you begin your work? Nyaradzo, would you like to start?
Yes. Let me just say, to my new appointed role, whenever I get onto the data that is being collected by the rangers, I would like to see the increase of animal sightings. The increase, like the status of the vegetation, like, wow, last year we have recorded extreme field fires in the protected area, and this year we have a decrease. Last year we have those trends, that analysis of like, we are achieving something, we are getting there. We are not just like deploying rangers walking in the bush. They are doing something that is being recognized, like something that is impactful, not just for us, but also for the upcoming generation. And I have in mind, like I was sharing with one of my colleagues here, my executive director, that last year, we have received a lot of reports from the community who were seeing pangolins, and we're saying, please, Akashinga ladies, come and collect the pangolins and relocate them in the wildlife area. And with that, it shows a positive impact to the community, because it was a culture before, and it was a culture before in Zimbabwe. Like, if someone see a pangolin, she or he have to take it to the chief, to the head leader of the area, and they have to kill it and have meat for the family of the chief. But right now, because of the impacts, because of the appreciation of the successes we are doing, the community is now like calling us to relocate and take care and protect the pangolins. So looking onto my job, I was sharing with her that I was thinking that what if we color those pangolins, like, because we were relocating them to a same area. Like, if we take one pangolin this week, next month, we're just relocating them to the same area that we know that there is food for the pangolin and enough water, and we have assessed the area. So I was thinking that what if we had colored the pangolins and see are they connected? Are they moving to other areas? Are they like having that analysis of what is happening to the animals that we are relocating, that we are taking from the community and introducing them to the new world in the wildlife protection? So it's almost like when I'm talking to my new role, I will be like exploring to different things. Like right now, the population increase of the wildlife. So what next are we going to do? We are looking forward for ecotourism, so that the people from the community can benefit, like doing game drives, viewing the animals, of which it's a big deal to the community, not just to the community and everyone in the world. And we have the history that when we started in 2017, we used to have no animals in this area, but now we are enjoying the aesthetic value of this wildlife area. So it's something that is like interesting, and I come up with new thinking and new broadening my mind every day.
Thank you so much, Nyaradzo. Petronella, is there anything you would like to add about what you look forward to each day when you begin your work?
As my colleague was talking about the coloring the animals, I'm just looking ahead, like if we have the technical machine that we can monitor our wildlife, and this as well can monitor the movement of the poachers, that will help us to our job, make it easier, because we will be seeing everything from the ground. And since we are looking after the big area, and now Akashinga is recruiting another female rangers to aid our number, so we'll make sure the whole area is secured, all the animals, they are safe. So I'm just looking forward if we can have the monitoring system, so we can monitor all the movements of our wildlife, and to do even the balls inside the park, so we can have more water. Since this year the rains was small, and the animals were looking for water, so we need to do more water, so our animals, they'll be they will be not suffering with not drinking water. So I'm just every day I'll think about our area and how best can we do it to secure our area and to make sure all the wildlife is safe.
Thank you so much. This concludes the Q&A portion of our event. Thank you, Beth, Nyaradzo, and Petronella, for sharing your insights and experiences with us today. We are also grateful to everyone joining us here today. To learn more and to continue supporting our critical mission, please visit www.akashinga.org and follow us on social media. This concludes today's event. Thank you all.